Welcome to the Parkland Report. I'm Stephanie Stewart, Vice President for Communications and External Affairs here at Parkland College, and this is the show where we talk to people making things happen here at Parkland. Today I have two segments for you, one about the Parkland Foundation and one about our surgical technology program, so stay tuned till the end of the program. But our first guest today is Tracy Walfelt. She's Executive Director of the Parkland Foundation, and welcome to the show, Tracy.
Thanks, Stephanie. I'm glad to be here.
I was recounting with you before we started how many times you've been on the show. I think at least once a year we try to have an update from the foundation, right?
Absolutely, because there's always things new and happening at the college and in the foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I may ask you about one thing that's exciting right off the top of the gate, a recent ag partnership that maybe is the showstopper, and we'll just get it out of the way. Which is so exciting.
It is so exciting. The AGCO partnership is really amazing and is going to provide fabulous opportunities for our students and really create new opportunities in our ag community. But it's a fabulous gift. I think that's what's so exciting for the foundation. It's a $5 million gift. Those don't happen every day.
No, they do not. Teamwork to make that happen, but so exciting for the foundation to kind of be the spot and to help employers know that that is an option if they too would like to write a $5 million check.
That's exactly right. We will never turn it away. But yeah, it was a lot of work, a lot of teamwork. I know you headed up a lot of that activity that took it through all those steps to get to that $5 million gift. But it is really a great opportunity. And training new students for the workforce or training incumbent workers, people that are out there in the workforce that maybe want to enhance their skills, this is a great opportunity for them.
Yeah, so thank you for giving us a little more information. But if you're maybe not prepared to write a large check for a building project like the AGCO project, there is a way to give through scholarships. And so can you share a little bit about what does that look like if a family may want to give, or a corporate entity would want to start a scholarship fund because they want to see young people succeed?
So I think probably a big fallacy, people think they have to give a lot of money in order to have a scholarship, and that's really not true. So a $500 scholarship is perfect. It helps students pay for books, helps pay for part of their tuition and fees. So it's a really simple process, actually. And it really focuses on what the donor is interested in. So let's say you came from an ag background and you want to help other students get their degree in agriculture. You can set up a scholarship. You can name it what you want, and then you can set up the criteria. So it could be for a student in ag. And it can be a very simple process. We fill out some paperwork. It's all ready to go and ready to help students achieve their goals. People who want to create an endowment, now that's a larger investment, so it's a $10,000 investment, but that scholarship lasts in perpetuity. And so the interest earned off of those dollars are what fund the scholarship dollars to help students. So it can be very simple, it can be a lesser amount, whatever people are comfortable with, or it can be a larger amount. But every dollar makes a difference.
Yeah, thank you for dispelling that myth, because you don't have to be independently wealthy necessarily to set up a scholarship fund, and it can be a meaningful way to honor a family member or help students really on that career path. And we have an event that recognizes both the students and the donors that's coming up. That's a really great event.
It is. April 19th is our scholarship reception. And at that reception, we celebrate the students who've received scholarships and the donors who have made those possible. And I think the neatest part for me is watching from the sidelines and watching those donors and students interact. Because for the donors, they really, their whole purpose is to help a student get their education, and getting to meet those students face to face means so much to them. And on the student side, it's a great chance for them to thank those individuals, because those people don't know them. Mm-hmm. They just want to invest in somebody's education and in their future. And so watching them come together is really just a fabulous event for me and my department to put on, but actually watch from the sidelines and see those interactions.
Yeah, I've had an opportunity, just as a college administrator, the seating chart for that event is very intentional, putting those donors right with the students that they funded, and then sometimes our college personnel will get to sit with them, and so you're bearing witness to that meet and greet and that moment, and it's different every time, but it is very meaningful for everyone involved, and the parents that come with the students to thank the donors. It's a pretty cool full circle moment.
It really is. And I always think it's so interesting too when students who have children of their own. So I always think, oh gosh, we're impacting the next generation of students. Those children are seeing, hey, my mom and dad have worked really hard to get here. And if I do those same things, maybe I have the opportunity to go to college someday. So the donors, I mean, to a person, talk about how meaningful it is to them. And students also write thank you letters, and we send those to the donors, and they all will comment, oh gosh, thank you so much. And you know, so many of our students have quite the heartfelt stories, and so it's so nice to be able to share that and share their successes.
Yeah, we have a great group of donors, just incredible people, and your team has put together a new sort of giving circle, a new initiative for women in the community. And can you tell our viewers about that, because that may be certainly a new addition since they've heard from the foundation last.
Yeah, absolutely. So Women of Impact is a brand new giving circle, and it's a women's giving circle. We had envisioned this in 2019, and then, you know, that 5-letter word hit. And so it derailed the process. And so we're back ready to roll with that. So the basic premise behind that is a group of women coming together to support other women in education. And so that night we will bring hopefully 200 women, each bearing $100. So it's $20,000. They get to vote on particular scholarship recipients, and we will give all $20,000 away that night. So we will tally those vote results and give that money away. And so it's a very quick process, 2 hours. Have some hors d'oeuvres, have some beverages, a fun event, but we didn't want to make something too long because we know all of these women are busy people.
Yeah, what a cool idea. I think that will be exciting. I'm looking forward to that event personally as well. And then there's another event. So May and June are just really, really packed and stacked. So the Cobra Venture Pitch Competition, this is something that is a project of, after my own heart, and it supports student entrepreneurs. But tell us all about what's coming up with the pitch competition and how that came about. I think it continues to be a cool story to tell about our donors matched with students.
Right. So you and I, when we were both fresh, new Parkland people here, was kind of thrown into our wheelhouse to say, hey, we need to get this up and running. And you came up with this fabulous idea in conjunction with the foundation and a donor who had provided money to provide awards for a pitch competition, similar to what is done at the University of Illinois. And so we put our own spin on it. So we have a cohort of students who start in January. They go through a series of workshops, learning how to develop their business ideas. And then in May, they come together and they pitch their business idea to a panel of judges who score them on a host of criteria. And the winner walks away with a $3,000 cash prize. And then there's some other prizes for other participants in the program. But it is such a cool program. And then at the Entrepreneur of the Year banquet, that student is highlighted. And it's a great chance then to support and highlight that program through to a whole group of community business partners.
Yes, it's very cool to see that connection and just the process that the students go through during the program, the pitch competition, and then seeing that student in the room with just so many business leaders at Entrepreneur of the Year as an event. And do you want to share a little bit more about a preview of this year's event for Entrepreneur of the Year and what we might expect?
So it's always really interesting, a wide range of business ideas from clothing to jewelry to hair. Over the years, we've had a dog grooming or pet grooming business to a record production label to a storefront. So it's always interesting. And I hope people will come out. It's on May 22nd. May 22nd in the Student Union. So anybody that's interested, come out, support these new entrepreneurs that are really looking to get their feet on the ground. But some of them actually come to us with, they've already had a business, but they want to expand it. And some it's just a new idea. And it's quite interesting to watch how they start in January until they finish up in May and how that business plan is developed.
Yes. Well, Tracy, thank you so much for coming on the show. Always exciting updates from the foundation and the programs that you're kind of developing and growing and all the ways we recognize our donors. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that's it for our conversation with Tracy Walfelt. Next, we'll be learning about Parkland's surgical technology program.
It was pretty amazing, honestly. I didn't think that I was going to be able to go back to college at the age that I'm going in. I'm kind of a non-traditional student, so I was going back to school as a freshman at 23 years old. I have 3 jobs to pay for all of this schooling past Parkland, so it was a real relief to have half of my semester's tuition paid for.
My initial reaction was definitely shock because I was like, me? And I was really excited because that meant that I was able to really have an opportunity to continue my education.
I didn't get any financial aid, so this was really helpful for me to be able to go to school and still work and still have a life outside of school. I was able to work less with the money that I was given.
This is so big for me. School is so big, and my profession is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. So I was so happy that somebody awarded me with a scholarship.
And so I'm like, oh my gosh, a scholarship. Like, this is great. This is going to help me focus more on, since nursing is very, critical thinking. You got to put your 100% in it. You're practically married to the program. So it just means definitely a lot to me.
I'm a recovering addict. I've almost got 3 years clean. I've tried college several times and never stuck with it because I had kids and I had a bad habit. So it's like I'm trying to go back and make something of my life.
I just want to say thank you because education is really important to me, and I really didn't think that I would have an opportunity like this to go back to school. Thank you. I mean, it's probably something everybody would say, but there's a reason for that. It's really generous, and it really helped me a lot.
I did experience tears. Even now I get a little emotional because it does give me this opportunity to continue my education and do something that I have been very passionate about since I was a little girl.
They gave me a group of people that I could always go to. They gave me a group of friends that I would have never found without the scholarship. And it gave me freedom to do the best that I could in school.
Thank you so much. I'm going to make them proud with this scholarship, and they're going to look back next year in May and see that I used that very well.
I definitely put my emotions out there, and I would definitely say thank you so much, shake their hand, and probably give them a hug if that's okay.
I've never been one of those people that I've ever got given help of any kind. The struggle has always been real for me, and this relieves a lot of struggle for me, and I really appreciate it.
Well, welcome back. And the second segment today of our show is all about Parkland College's surgical technology program. And I have 2 guests here to share more about that program, Janice Grewatz and Rebecca Masters. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so could each of you maybe introduce yourselves and tell a little bit about your role here at the college?
So I'm Janice Grewatz. I'm the program director of the surgical technology program. So not only do I teach courses here within the program, I also administer and manage the program administratively as well.
Great, thank you.
Hi, Rebecca Masters, full-time faculty of the program. I graduated from our program in 1995, so it's kind of fun to be back. For the last 10 years, I've been teaching full-time in the Surg Tech program.
So it comes full circle for
Yeah.
you. So I think some of our viewers may be wondering, what is a surgical technologist? Because it's a career that a lot of folks don't maybe know about or talk about. So Rebecca, could you share a little bit more about what is that career or occupation?
Sure, yeah, you're right. So a lot of people don't know what a Surg Tech does. Everyone knows doctors, surgeons, nurses. They're more on the forefront. So Surg Techs are highly trained to work in the operating room. So they are the ones that prepare and preserve the sterile field for a surgery. They pass the instrumentation to the surgeon. They are trained before they leave our program, not only how to do cases, but why we're doing them, what it takes to do a case. And with time and with experience, they then can anticipate what a doctor's needs will be during a procedure, just to help facilitate that case and move things along, and so there's no delays. And we also work very hard to maintain sterile technique, keeping all supplies sterile, which helps assure that a patient's going to have a good surgical outcome hopefully no infections, post-op infections, by what we do by kind of guarding and preserving that sterility.
Yeah, thank you. And so in our program, what are students learning about to help accomplish that outcome? Obviously, it's a high risk situation,
Right.
That you're working in every single day, but how do students prepare for that?
So we have a lot of classes. Of course, I take all the normal stuff, the gen eds, the bios, things working up to getting into our program. We spend a lot of time in our lab, our mock operating room. We spend a lot of time introducing new skills. They practice, they test out on it, then we move on to something else. We spend many hours a week going over and over and over those skills, so we know they're good. Before they go to clinical, we're 100% certain that they're going to be successful. Well, I guess I can't say 100%. We're 100% certain they are safe to go to clinical.
Yes.
Based on the training they receive from us. Yeah.
Great.
And sorry.
No, I was going to ask about, you had mentioned before they're admitted to our program. So can you talk a little bit about the admissions process? Because that is a big part of our health professions and search tech in particular.
So I'll give that one to Janice.
Oh,
She's the expert.
So part of our admissions process, we are a selective admissions program. So there's an application checklist that our students have to go through in order to apply to our program. Our program admits students once a year. We start in the fall semester and we accept 20 students per year. So every March 1st is our deadline for students to apply to our program for that fall admission. Part of the checklist is the students have to, apply to the college, of course. They have to have their transcripts from either their any other college that they've attended, as well as their high school. They also have to do assessment testing, or if they are not required to do that, that is also listed on the checklist. They have to be eligible to enroll in Bio 121, which is anatomy and physiology. Many of our students have already taken that. So if they've taken that within the last 5 years, that also helps qualify them for our program. And then they just have to meet with me so I can discuss how our program is structured, how it's laid out, and then they may submit their application to apply to our program.
Great. Okay, that's a good thought process of what's in front of them if this is of interest for our viewers. And so talk about the career outlook for this. I know I've been in conversations just in my little corner of the world about how in demand this career really is, but can you talk more about that?
Yeah. Due to the pandemic, healthcare in general, there is a shortage of healthcare workers, and surgical technologist is one of those. Every facility that performs surgery is in need of surgical technologists. There are not enough graduates right now that can fulfill the open positions, and that's not only locally, but it's in the state and nationwide. So it is considered a very high in-demand career right now, and with students that are interested in applying, and if they meet the qualifications, we can have them into that career in a very short period of time with an associate's degree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very, very interesting to see that happen. I know the state has made some of the PATH grant funds available, so trying to spur that workforce and help to sponsor students within programs like this, just because it's a very dire need. Can you share a little bit more about the employer relationship? So then how do you work with employers for clinicals? Because I know that our area healthcare centers, what does that process look like? If you're in the program, you've completed some coursework and now it's time for clinicals, what does that look like?
So we have several hospitals in the area that we work with. Carl, local. We go down to Sarah Bush, we go to Bloomington, we go as far as St. Anthony. If we have a student who lives in that district, let's say someone's in Bloomington who's out of Champaign District, there are agreements in place that they can come to our program for the in-district tuition, I guess I should say. And then we would try to, if we can, send them to clinical there. We do rotate our students around as well, so they're not just in one spot the entire time, so they can see how other hospitals do things. Maybe there's a surgery center setting would work better for them than working at the main OR, at Carl that's really busy. So we have a lot of agreements with those hospitals. They start clinical about mid-October after they start the fall semester. So they're ready to go. They know our students. They anticipate them coming. They love our graduates. Most of them are hired before they even graduate. So we have a really good relationship, and they have a lot of respect for our students as well.
I bet that's a big draw for students, that they know that if they complete the program, there is 100% a job for them at the end of the road.
And just to kind of elaborate on what Becky said, with those career agreements that we have with Heartland, we have them with Lakeland, also with Kankakee, as well as Danville Area Community College. We accept students, and we hold spots in our program for those students to come, because we are the only surgical technology program that services those areas. The closest one there is the program in Decatur, but other than that, it's in Peoria. Okay. So, and then you get north into Chicago. So we kind of try to service a lot of counties and areas that do not have access to surgical technology programs.
Great, yeah, that's a really good point to make. And so one of the exciting things that's happening in your program right now is we're coming up on a new facility for training. Tell me more about that and what it will mean for the program.
We are very excited to have a new space they're renovating a new space in the B Wing here on campus for our surgical technology program. Our program is a little over 50 years old. It was started in the early 70s, and our current lab space has only been remodeled once, and that was in the mid 1990s.
It's vintage.
It is vintage.
It works, but
and our program has expanded since that last remodel, and we've also added the sterile processing program. So we've kind of outgrown our space, and we need to really reflect the operating room environment that students are going to be encountering when they're at clinical. So having this new space that will almost double the space that we currently have in both our classroom and our lab, and it's all going to be in one little cube-shaped area over in the B Wing where our offices are, and storage space and everything. It's going to be a wonderful addition for the program and really reflect what students are going to be seeing in the clinical environment.
yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Well, is there anything else about the program you'd want to share with our viewers of the Parkland Report before we wrap up?
I think one of the things that people judge programs by is their outcomes. And for the last 13 years, when our students take their national certification exam at the end of their program, we have an overall pass rate of 99% in the last 13 years.
Wow.
The national average is about 69 to 70% pass rate, and we're at a 99%. So I think that speaks volumes about the quality of our program and how we prepare our students to enter the workforce and how successful they can become just by gaining that certification.
That's incredible. Truly exceptional. And so something we want the community to know more
Yes.
about.
Yes.
We want more students to know about. And so Surg Tech's top of mind when you think about Parkland College.
Yes, healthcare. There were their little known career. People don't always necessarily know what surgical technologists do. So.
Excellent. Well, our viewers do now. So thank you
Yeah.
so
Wonderful.
much
Yeah,
for
thank
coming
you.
on the show. And it's been, great discussion and to talk about all the different aspects of surgical technology. So thank you.
Thanks for having
Thanks,
us.
Stephanie.
All right. So this is it for this episode today. We're so appreciative of you spending some time with us on the Parkland Report to hear about the foundation as well as surgical technology. And we'll be back, of course, soon with some more stories from Parkland College and people making things happen. So we'll see you next time.